I was playing a little bit of that Black Ops 7 campaign, and it's absolutely horrible. It's absolutely horrendous. What the hell happened to gaming? This is abhorrent. And it shows like a tiny insight into the world because gaming is not as good as it used to be. The food, the fast food restaurants used to go to are not as good as they used to be. I'm talking about like McDonald's and Jack in the Box and things of that nature. Like back in the days, you got more bang for your buck. You got more food, you got better video games, and it was cheaper. And there was really a strong social online community. Nowadays, you can't even cuss on Call of Duty without getting in trouble. And this goes to show you how the world is getting more and more tight, more and more restrictive. I know you guys hear about all these government shutdowns, all these deficits that can't recover. The government shutdown recently ended, but still to have a government shutdown as many times in the last decade as the United States government is just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's abhorrent. And it shows you that the people in power really don't give a fuck, or the people we perceive in power don't really care, and they're listening to their puppet masters and puppeteers. This whole world, man, it seems to be founded on deception. It seems to be founded on not telling people the truth, not letting everybody see let everybody see what the world for what it really is, And we have all these mirrors and these layers and these complicated sophistications that is all meant to deter your mind. It's all meant to control your mind. If you really look at it, every time you see a news cycle, it's always something about a war. It's always something about some drama. It's about some problems. It's about igniting conflict within humanity. How is that not insanity? Isn't the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results? That's the definition of insanity. But yet, in this country we're in, you keep seeing it. The rich get richer, the poor get poorer, and people get mutilated psychologically, devastated internally. And the degradation of the soul is real. A lot of us in this position, man, we've been through a lot in life, and we survived things that most people would never survive, that if people are in our shoes, they'll melt in seconds. And it goes to show you how strong we really are, especially in this little tight-knit community. I talk to so many cool people, man, that tell me their life struggles, their battles, and how my videos help them. That's a really good feeling when people say, your videos help me through the day, man. I listen to your videos when I'm playing PlayStation, when I'm playing my Xbox, when I'm playing my Nintendo Wii, or when I'm playing my Game Boy or something like that, because some people still got the old Game Boys that still work and they still play those games and shit. Or when they're like doing chores, cleaning up, even when they're working out and shit, they listen to my videos and I'm like, wow. I never thought I really had that much power, but I guess my old channel was bigger than what I thought. So to me, it was just nothing. I was just, uploading, talking about what I was going through, and I guess I had a real effect on people, and that honestly means something. And I thank all you guys that watch now, and I appreciate you guys, man. But if you look at the world objectively, you can see where it's going. It's going to hell in a handbasket real fast and real soon. How many more government shutdowns is going to happen before people start revolting, before people start realizing that all your votes, all being nice and proper to the government infrastructure, it just leads to more, sci-fi slavery. Let's just say that, because imagine a world 75 years from now, like in the beginning of Black Ops 7, they were talking about neurochips. Like this guy had some type of eye camera or whatever, and they were all linked. So whatever he see, they can see, and it's like some type of integrated neural uplink system. And I'm like, wow. And then you hear Elon Musk talking about putting that brain chip in people. So imagine 75 years from now. It'll be like 2020 or even sooner. That'd be like 2020 all over again. Something happens, and this is a classic Illuminati credo. They create the problem, then they come up with the solution, or they already have the solution in place and be like, yeah, there's a big problem going on. There's a virus going around, and here we got the jabby with a Krabby Patty. Take that, and then more people get affected by that, and more people pass away from that than the initial quote unquote virus. And a lot of people can't see through that because most people are sheep. Most people are NPCs. It's the truth. Millions and billions of people don't have that deep intellectual insight that a lot of us have, that deep spiritual, emotional intelligence. A lot of people act off of low vibrational frequencies, jealousy, misery, insecurity, um, sexual desires that they can't control, other types of passions that are irrational to the human spirit and its growth and development. This world will try to break down pure souls and destroy them. And they wonder why a lot of guys start to isolate themselves, because energy is a real thing, you know? And low vibrational energies and low vibrational frequencies is a real thing. So a lot of people, they realize the world is not good, but they have to be in it. Didn't the Bible say, you're going to be in the world, but be not of the world, right? Like you don't want to become consumed with materialism, especially those who are deeply religious and things of that nature, who deeply follow certain aspects, certain spiritual customs and certain applications. But at times it feels like this world targets good people. Like it seriously targets people that mind their business and people that, don't go in with the government, This is a new world order that's upon us, and we can see it. Each and every year you can see it. Right now they're working on that digital currency, and that's going to take over everything once they have that. Can you imagine a global digital currency where there's no nations, there's no borders, there's just one digital currency. All the nations get pretty much vaporized, and you have a one world order, a one world government that everybody has to respond to. They can just type your name in the computer and some artificial intelligence algorithm comes up with all your daily activities, your deeds. Because when Facebook came out, everybody was just posting their whole life on Facebook, right? And the government takes that information and they integrate that into certain patterns. You ever seen that movie called Minority Report, where they predict that you're going to commit a crime before you even commit it, even if you committed no crimes? So in the future, just being able to exist is going to be labeled a crime if you don't have proper government affiliations or protections. This is communism, a form and a storm of fascism. A lot of us, we want to create. We want to be able to make things. We want to be able to do what we really want in this life and be accepted for it, But some of the greatest minds, the greatest philosophers, and the greatest people of all time, they face rejection. They face dejection. They face isolation. They face mental and soul obliteration. They face so many battles and turmoils, and that strengthened them and it made them stronger. And I know a lot of us, man, we're not the most economically stabilized, but a lot of us have deep introspective and retrospective insight. We can see things clearly and concisely. And if we ever got around like the right people that can see our talents, that can nourish our talents, that can sprinkle water on the seeds of our talents and watch it grow, we'll be able to thrive. I know that. I've seen so many artists, producers, writers who all watch my channel, even my new one now. They may not comment much, but they watch it. They email me, and some of them say they don't comment because they don't want trolls looking at them and attacking them. I find that funny because it's like, I don't think the trolls are gonna, it's not even worth mentioning. Like anytime you create something online, you got to expect criticism. You got to be strong when you make videos. You can't care what people think. You can't care who's watching. You just got to create. Because that's the fundamental and essential vibrational frequency of the soul is creation. We're in the image of God, no? Correct. What does God do? Create. So create your music. Create your art. Create your painting, your sculptures. Create. Let your voice be heard. Why be a silenced voice in a world that already wants you silent? And a lot of us are in this position due to economic stagnation and other type of mental deficits that we face in our life, and an accumulation of demonic entities and all types of enemies and shadow snipers. There's people online who I never met that don't know nothing about me in real life. I'm a cool guy, bro. You know, I don't bother nobody, man. I stay out the way, just trying to make it, man. That's it. But yet I get so much, I don't know, energy, negative stuff. It's crazy. But got to keep on going, got to keep my head focused, and got to do what I got to do, man. And I suggest you guys do the same, man. Follow your dreams, follow your passions, and understand how the system is meant to break you down. Think about it. Anytime anybody finds anything about the government, the Epstein files and stuff like that, people disappear. They want you to forget about this, forget about that. Anytime anything that's classified comes out into the open, especially from a sensitive installation, some type of classified black ops base or black ops site, when the information leaks out, they use it. The Central Intelligence Agency utilizes a disinformation program, and they hide a lot of things. There's a lot of things that the government knows that we don't know. They know about portals, other realms and realities, other entities. Like people are telling me, like, "Hey, man, don't mention entities and gods and stuff like that, because that stuff is all fake and blah 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 blah." I was like, bro, there's classified documents, that the CIA has released, and then they redacted, that talked about them interacting with beings inside classified bases and places and spaces. And there's people that take the Torah, they take ayahuasca, they take mind-altering drugs and substances, and those drugs and substances allow them to interact with beings that are not in the physical form. They're energetic beings, and a lot of these energetic beings, they feed off our negative emotional frequency, which is why you got to keep your mind strong. You got to be healthy, mentally, physically, spiritually, and you got to have some type of dream or goal. Even if your dream and goal is impossible, even though you feel life is an obstacle, even though you're surrounded by an ocean of emotion, you're surrounded by all types of things, you got to stay strong and stay focused. You can't let, just because you're homeless, just because you don't have no money right now, just because you don't have a girl right now, just because you don't have any quote unquote big success right now, means you just give up on your life. No. Every single day you create, every single day you focus, and every single day you focus that mind like a samurai. Like what's that legendary samurai Musashi? He's a samurai that defeated all those other samurai, those other warriors, and he wrote The Five Rings. That's an excellent book. I haven't read that book in a minute, but that was an excellent read. The Five Rings, written by that Japanese samurai Musashi, legendary. And this world is hostile towards certain people. If you notice, all the truth sayers. I don't know if you guys know about Hypatia. Hypatia was a very wise woman that understood that this whole world feels like an eternal infernal prison. It feels like there's beings, entities, these demons, these devils, these spiritual rebels that latch themselves on to certain people. They parasite certain people and they steal their energy. It's crazy, right? Whether you believe it or not, if you look at the world for what it is, there's been a history of global conflict for thousands of years, since the days of Alexander the Great, even before his time, the days of Achilles of Troy, and even before that, there's been rumors of giants, there's been rumors of great floods, rumors of mysterious animals. This has been going on for thousands and thousands of years. Back in the ancient days, people used to sacrifice their children, sacrifice virgins, and do all that crazy stuff. Hell, not that long ago, in Britain and America, they were burning girls to the stake, calling them witches, saying they were using witchcraft and stuff. And in those days, it was brutal. The king had absolute power. Then you had the serfs and the knights and people like that, and the clergy and the people close to the king. So we always live in a system of hierarchy, a system of ranking, a system where those in power need to have those beneath them so they can feel superior, which is crazy. In the eyes of the true God and a true loving creator being, we all should be able to create the life that we want. We all should be equal. There shouldn't be nobody more wealthier than somebody else, and they hold and they wield that power to devour everybody around them. It's brutal. But it goes to show you how this world is just, it has a certain mandates, its aspects, and things of that nature. But one thing, man, whatever spark you have inside of you, whatever gets you happy, whatever gets you going in this world, hold on to it. Never give up. Never, ever give up on anything, even if it seems brutal. I know some people say, oh, man, I never give up stuff. Well, I understand. But hell, the reason why people say that is because, they haven't made it. Because if you listen to somebody who's made it, they'll tell you something totally different than somebody who's never made it. Somebody that made $1 million at 21 will have a totally different mindset, than somebody who's never made it. And they're in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, you know what I mean? And they're still, trapped in economic deprivation. They're going to believe what life, because your experiences determine your life. When you've been through a lot of shit in life, you're probably going to lose faith. But if you had a good life, you had girls, you had cars, you had money, you had success, then your perspective on life is going to be a lot different, which is crazy. You could be living in the same country, in the same state as somebody else, right? And they could be living in a multi-million-dollar mansion. Meanwhile, you're suffering homelessness and you're dealing with all types of psychological issues and all types of other things, and that person will never know the struggles you go through, nor will they care. So the best thing you guys can do, man, is stay focused on whatever it is, man. If you're in school right now, stay focused on your schooling. I got a lot of people that listen to me that's trying to get their CDL, that trying to drive trucks and stuff. And one person I was talking to, he's trying to drive those trucks where they carry chemical components, and they get paid to $55 to $75 an hour, for real. They drive those dangerous chemicals. You gotta get all types of licenses and degrees though, but once you get it, they be carrying all types of dangerous components and shit. And sometimes they drive into military bases if you want to do that for the military, and other times they go to private places and stuff. And it seems pretty cool, man. But yeah, man, you guys keep your hope up, man. Keep your faith up, and don't let this world break you, man. Peace and have a good day.